Hey, it's Traci Brown, the fraud-busting body language expert. My job is to detect deception, and some of you have been asking me about this Cassidy Hutchinson situation. Is she telling the truth about the lengths that the president went to get to the Capitol during the riots on January 6th? So, I thought I'd take a look at a video here. Let's let you take a look at it, and I'll tell you what I think.
Ms. Hutchinson, when you returned to the White House in the motorcade after the president's speech, where did you go?
When I returned to the White House, I walked upstairs towards the Chief of Staff's office, and I noticed Mr. Ornato lingering outside of the office. Once we had made eye contact, he quickly waved me to go into his office, which was just across the hall from mine. When I went in, he shut the door, and I noticed Bobby Engel, who is the head of Mr. Trump's security detail, sitting in a chair, just looking somewhat discombobulated and a little lost. I looked at Tony, and he'd said, "Did you effing hear what happened in the Beast?" I said, "No, Tony, I just got back. What happened?" Tony proceeded to tell me that when the president got in the Beast, he was under the impression from Mr. Meadows that the off-the-record movement to the Capitol was still possible and likely to happen, but that Bobby had more information. So once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, "We're not, we don't have the assets to do it, it's not secure, we're going back to the West Wing," the president had very strong, very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Ornato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And was Mr. Engel in the room as Mr. Ornato told you this story?
He was.
What do we see here? There's a lot to see, a lot to talk about. I'm going to give you analysis just like I would do analysis on any investigation that I work on. It is separate from any political views. It's just what's going on. So the big question here is because the Secret Service, while I have not seen their interview yet, they have not agreed with what she has to say here. So let's take a look at this. So what I'm interested in is, because I watched her whole testimony, let's look at, does she depart from her baseline or not? And here's what I noticed, is that her breathing is non-existent as she goes into this part of the story. You can see she's from the top of her chest. She's barely breathing at all. That's probably from fear. Is fear always connected to deception? No. But it can be. And then we see her through there. She flashes a smile as she talks about Trump's anger. But if you look really close, go back and look at it, it's not really a smile. It's half up, half down, which says there's internal conflict there. So fast forward, well, not really that fast, just 7 seconds down the road, she looks down into her right, our left, prior to when she's talking about his anger and being irate. So is that where she's making something up? It could be. That is a departure from her normal baseline. We don't see her look down that way very much, but we see it twice here in this clip. Now, she does an audible swallow, like a gulp, before she recounts the president's quote. That's very off baseline as well, and it can be because it takes 6 organs for you to make a sound, and they can shut down when you're not telling the truth. It's deeply unconscious, and that may be what we're seeing there. And then we see her down and look to our left, to her right, again, before she repeats the president's words. Another departure from baseline. And then just 4 seconds later, she's describing this situation in The Beast, and she grabs her own arm to show what happened in there, and which is very unusual to demonstrate what happened to someone else on yourself. And then we see her put her hand over her chest here. Actually, it's over her suprasternal notch. This is your suprasternal notch. It's a very fancy word for a very sensitive area. And she says he lunged towards his clavicles. Now, that's how you can tell this is really rehearsed. She's working very hard to place every word in the right spot. That is her baseline. However, you'd say he lunged at his neck. That's what you would do, and you would grab your neck if you were doing that to represent what happened to you. I think when you represent something that's happening to someone else, you grab their neck away from you. So we have some incongruency here. At the end, she purses her lips. We see her purse her lips, and that says silent disagreement. And what we don't know is if she's disagreeing with what she's just said, or she's disagreed with what actually happened during the situation, because there was just bad behavior that went on all day. So, just another note, throughout her testimony, we see her lips or her tongue quite frequently, and that can be a sign of anger. However, she does it that's her baseline. She does it very often. So her volume, her tone, and her pacing are all really consistent. I gotta tell you though, something is off here. I just can't say she's being 100% truthful. I'd like to see the interview with the Secret Service agent Bobby to see what his version of the story is. And that's what I got to tell you. So go back, look at that, and enjoy.